Hey everyone, this is Walter, and we're back here with more stories I found on Reddit. I haven't covered stories from AskReddit in a long time, but here we are. A thread from very recently, asking, what's the worst nice guy experience you've ever had? So we're going to be reading short stories from Redditors today on the usual subject. Let's get started with nice guys from Reddit. Once again, these are from AskReddit. Oh my god, there was this guy who I would speak to on my commute. He was very awkward, and I made polite small talk, but really I just wanted to read my book. Anyway, one day he comes up at the train station and says he saw me out with my husband and kids. He then went mental. Accused me of leading him on, called me a slag, threatened to kill himself, broke down crying, begged me to leave my husband for him. Then asked to no one in particular, why does this keep happening to him? Edit, for those of you that read this and thought, she sounds like she could do with a dick pic, let me assure you, I don't. Be better. Wait, so some Redditors saw this story and decided to send unsolicited dick pics to her? That edit. Has a husband, is committed with kids, is sharing a trauma, equals OMG, she wants my dick? I'm a man, and that there are men out there that think this way, is just, my head hurts, man. I don't know. Well, I never said this site isn't full of degenerates. Of course it is. Joined a gaming group. Slowly started to speak to someone and make a close friend. 3 months went on. Eventually he said he liked me. I said I didn't feel the same. He took it well and said he was happy to remain friends. We had exchanged Christmas cards before it all went to hell, so he knew where I lived. Then the little quips of intensity started, until he was calling me 50 times a day. All day, every day, needed to stay in contact. Slowly chats turned to harassment every day, making up stories of things I hadn't done, berating me, and blowing up if I didn't reply within a 30-second window. I tried to cut it off, but then it would make it 10 times worse, to where he was screaming to everyone that he was going to kill himself if I don't speak to him. I was only 18 at the time. It was easier to just keep the peace than to try and get away. Then the gifts started, sending things to my house, turning up at my house multiple times a week even though he lived 300 miles away. He told everybody a completely different story to what he was actually doing to make himself look better and come out on top. It only stopped when I contacted the police. His entire family still blamed me. If anyone who lives 300 miles away decides to just show up at my house, I might have to use one of the weapons I keep by my door. It's creepy as fuck. We bought groceries together for a work event, and he insisted on putting all the groceries into the car because I'm superior to him. I had to nervously laugh my way out of that and say no, of course not, haha. When we got back into the car, he asked if I was in a relationship. I said no, but that I also wasn't looking. I was, but I had a feeling he was going to ask. He said, not even with me? I said, haha, no, not with anyone, sorry. He said I was being really rude by not even accepting a date. When we got back to work, he complained to everyone that I made him do all the shopping, and that I then started name-calling him in the car. He also said I wouldn't stop asking him out on a date. Since everyone saw him bring the groceries back in, because he had strongly insisted, at least that part looked true, and I was so scared because I didn't know how to sort the whole thing out. Luckily, the camera in the car had audio. Edit, I really appreciate all the advice, but this was a few years ago, and has been resolved. He was fired soon after, for apparently something else. His story just seems completely unbelievable to me, assuming the OP isn't a complete weirdo the rest of the time. It's like in Billy Madison where he just yells, "No, I will not make out with you," because that girl insulted him in class. I met him when I was 16. He was 20, while playing League of Legends. We kept getting in the same games, and eventually just added each other and queued up. We lived in the same city, and there was a meetup for other gamers, so we had met in person a couple months later, after playing every day together. I didn't really have a lot of friends, so I did cling to him during these meetups, where we would all go to this internet cafe and get pizza and play League of Legends. He was nice. He would pick me up and drive me to the city, or take the train to mine, and escort me down and teach me about public transport. I truly saw him as a best friend. Eventually, I guess he got impatient. He would be jealous that I had a crush on a guy in my grade, lamenting about what this boy had that I didn't. He'd bring up all the things he did for me, how he never asked to be repaid or anything back. He wanted us to lose our virginities to each other. He wanted me. He never did anything to me when I was underage, a silver lining I suppose. I drifted myself away from him, and he let it go. 2 years pass. I'm 18. I see him again when there's a big League of Legends event in our city, and he starts talking to me. I was naive. I forgave him. Because how could I hate someone for wanting me? He offers to drive me home. I accept because it's late, and I've overstayed in the city talking to him. He's changed. Apparently he's gone to gym, got fit, started seeing girls, and lost his virginity. Good for him, I said. He talks about how he loves it when women are smaller than him. Like me. How these Asian girls love how big he is, how he throws them around. I'm uncomfortable, because I am an Asian girl. He asks if I've done anything yet. I guess he thinks that my aversion to dating him before was because I was frigid. I'm nearly home. Nearly there. I text my dad, ask him to meet me in front of the house because I'm scared. He then drops the question, if I'd like to see his penis. I refuse. He then asks me to change the song. I look down and yeah, he has it out. He's smiling, thinking that I'd be impressed, or overcome with lust. Quite the opposite. I open the car door while it's still moving. He's swearing and stopping the car, and I just get out and tell him to never talk to me again. I'm close to my home and I see my dear dad, standing menacingly in the dark end of the driveway. I run to my dad and he charges down the street to the car. I get back inside and not long after my father does too. I'm blocked from that guy on every platform I had him on, except Snapchat, where he later sends me a slurry of abuse before blocking me too. Not much is said, but it's not needed. I love my dad, and the day he saved me. Obligatory Seinfeld, he took it out reference, I guess. Though this guy did ask, he just got a no and did it anyway. I have to know what champ did he main. My bet is on Yasuo. Yeah, wanting to meet people from the League community, it's really bizarre to me. Glad I was an adult by the time I played it. Really brings in the assholes. Most baffling was a guy at work who offered me a lift home. When we got to my place, he was all, "Aren't you going to invite me in?" And I was like, "No." Then he told everyone at work I was a cock tease, lol. What a loser. It was honestly so bizarre I couldn't even be mad. We'd exchanged pleasantries in the kitchen, but never flirted or been on a date, and the drive from the office to my place was only about 10 minutes. To this day I can't fathom what on earth he was thinking. And they keep telling their coworkers stories afterward that just make them look pathetic. I wouldn't personally want to tell everyone that I was rejected, but I guess that's just me. Freshman year, a guy in one of my classes offered to tutor me in stats. I said sure, he was good at it and I actually needed the help. Every session he brought me a little gift, coffee, granola bar, handwritten poems, yeah. I tried to tell him it wasn't necessary, but he brushed it off. Then one day I thanked him and said I finally passed the quiz. His response? Well, now you owe me a date, or at least a makeout session. I said no. He told everyone I'd been leading him on for months. Bro, I was just trying to understand standard deviation. Sounds like you learned. You took a standard deviation away from his plan. Hit it off with this one guy while out with friends. He was super sweet, said all the right things, and we were flirting for a while. Finally, I went to leave with a friend and got into her passenger seat. Was thinking of maybe meeting up with him until he came to my friend's car, banged on the window with his fists, and asked, "Do you want to fuck?" Before I could even roll the window down. I said no, started to roll the window up, and he put his fingers in it, so I couldn't. Just stood there with an angry face for a while, called me a bitch and stomped away. They get in their own way. They absolutely do. I matched with a guy on Tinder and there was a lot of heavy flirting. We scheduled a date for the following weekend, but still messaged each other throughout the week. But literally like a day or two before the date, he started to get very sexual. I tried to playfully let him down like, we'll see where the night takes us. So not a firm no, but letting him know I wanted more than to just hook up, which is something we had talked about previously before setting up the date. He then got very angry and started name-calling, saying I was a tease and leading him on, that I clearly didn't know what I wanted. We never had that date, and I blocked him immediately. In hindsight, I'm glad it didn't work out. Lord only knows what would have happened if we met up and I didn't give him what he wanted. He's like, well, I've got the first date locked in. Might as well let my mask slip. What's she gonna do, block me? Oh. Was my friend for 7 years. 7 years. We supported each other in college, studying. He asked and I set him up with a friend. They dated, broke up. I stayed friends with both. Helped each other move at least 5 times. Endless resume editing, relationship advice, introduced into people as my brother. Maximum contact was an occasional hug. Found myself single near a big birthday. While crying about the fresh breakup on the phone with him, he decided that I should try dating him, or at least hook up, and that I owed it to him because he's always been there for me. Excuse me? I had always been there for him too, and I didn't think anything was owed to me. I once went out with a nice guy named Matt who said he loved soft girls with deep thoughts. Seemed poetic. Big mistake. On our date, he took me to this weird coffee shop with no menu because real connoisseurs know what to ask for. He then ordered for me without asking because he could tell what kind of girl I was. He kept calling me Kitten the entire time. I had never given him a nickname to use. He asked if I like guys who cry, and when I said, sure, I think that's healthy. He launched into a rant about how women say they want sensitivity, but always go for jerks. Oh man, anyone who tries to act like a poet is just going to emit hazardous levels of cringe. I really don't think I could tolerate much of a stranger calling me Kitten. I think I'm going to read a post from Reddit Nice Guy Stories to end this, because bitches love posts. I was telling this guy about how I had been physically abused by my ex-boyfriend, and this is what he says to me. Not going off of you, but this reminds me of something. Girls want crackhead and abusive guys who will use them and toss them aside, and then wonder why their mental state and stability is half down the drain. Usually all the good-looking guys, or guys with, cough, a good body, tend to take this path, simply because it's easy for them. It's incredibly rare to find someone who's loyal and genuinely somewhat good-looking, which is why I think women sometimes force themselves into those kinds of relationships solely because even though they know it's better for them, they don't want to get stuck with some mid-ag guy and laughed at by their friends, despite knowing that guy might be the nicest person on the planet. Treating her like a queen and basically just being a genuine partner like all guys should be. Sadly, they don't think this way, and will instead chase physical pleasures, as opposed to the mental ones of the long run. I have to feel like dating someone who sucks because they're hot is not a uniquely female phenomenon. Guys do that all the time. Adding on to this is also part of the reason the lesser-looking guys get tossed aside for the players. Because girls don't believe they can change themselves for the better and just assume they'll be big or ugly forever. Like, that's not how it works. People can change themselves with enough motivation and dedication. Not just physically, but emotionally too. And it really sucks how a lot of today's women tend to overlook that and take every guy they meet at face value, instead of really talking to and meeting them. Heck, SpongeBob taught us even the meanest looking guys can be softies. Sad nobody puts that aspect to reality. Yeah, I mean, why date someone you're already attracted to when you could just date someone who might become attractive to you in the future? Makes a lot of sense, right? But the opposite goes as well. Nice and fragile guys could tear you down and rip you apart for a number of reasons. Could be just because they want to. Could be because of their own insecurities that they don't want to burden anyone else with, but end up doing so either on accident or intentionally and then claiming it as an accident. It's confusing. But alas, the sad reality of today's dating society. I haven't even gone over what guys see in women yet. I'll do that after finals. That's a shame. I guess he was too busy studying for finals to complain about the men nowadays, but he'll get to it eventually. That is like half of being a nice guy, complaining about the fuckboys. Anyway, it's about all the time I have for you today. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you have something to say about the stories or about my content in general, let me hear it in the comments. I'll be reading them while the video's new. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more of the same, and probably Predator content coming up soon. Kinda forgot about that series. Finally, big thanks to my awesome patrons who support me more directly over on Patreon. It really helps me out. I'll be back here soon with more Reddit crap, and probably more of these stories too. Have a great day, everyone, and beware those nice and fragile guys. They make the devil shiver sometimes.